Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Kurt Oven. I'll be with you for the next hour. We're celebrating Yuletide. We're celebrating the release of our expansion, Kingdoms of Harad. We're kicking off a bunch of big sales here through December. Going to have details on all of that, along with everything that's happened in the past couple of days with the release of update 46.0.1. So all the latest news, and then we're going to be celebrating Yuletide. I'm going to be in game doing Yuletide, and if I can, I'm going to get started on the story of the Song of Waves and Wind, this final part. It'll just be the early part. I've been careful to be relatively spoiler light. However, we're a couple weeks in now, so you've had chance to run this stuff. So we're going to get started, I think, towards the end of the show on that. So welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good Friday in Massachusetts here. It is cold. It is windy. It is very winter-like outside. Despite it being sunny, it is just blustery and chilly day. Chilly day. I was hoping to have a surprise for you, a bit of a holiday present, and that is, I haven't told, I don't think, the live stream here yet, but I have another cat. There is a second cat besides Lizzie that is now living in this house. It's an older kitty by the name of Brooklyn, and probably not that old, quite a bit younger than Lizzie. And Brooklyn is my girlfriend's cat. My girlfriend is living with a roommate, and Brooklyn and these other cats were just not getting along. So I decided to take Brooklyn in, at least for a little while here in my house. And however, I was hoping that within a week Brooklyn might be accustomed to the house and I could put him up on camera and you could see the big boy. And yes, he is a big boy. But he's still a little kind of early cat days, kind of hiding upstairs in a nice sunny room. So, not hiding, actually. He's in the sun in a window. But it's his room, and he's kind of afraid to leave it right now. So, I don't think we're going to see Brooklyn yet on camera. Brooklyn, as in Brooklyn, New York. Sorry if I'm trying to say Brookline, or however you say it. Yeah. It's a cat's name. I didn't name it. I think I'd call him Squeaky, because he's squeaky. I've already kind of said, hey, Squeaky, because he has a cat meow that sounds like squeak. I think it's pretty fun. Anyway, all right, well, that's not Lotra related. What is Lotra related? Let's get to some news. The main thing I want to mention is that the Yuletide Festival is here. This kicked off yesterday morning, and it runs through January 4th, being shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on January 5th. You can see in our guide all the details about how to get started, how to get there, what to do when you're there. We have a list of some of the new rewards. See this this turtle there? A bit of a hit this year, I think. But rewards for 2025, pretty extensive list here, so I'm going to be taking part in some of this myself. Festivity tokens, or mithril, is how you're going to get that Jingle Turtle. So you're going to have to run the festivity instance a few times in order to get that thing. But a lot of the other stuff you can just get with Yule Festival tokens and what have you. And we've got some screenshots. Yeah, see, isn't that turtle cute? We also have a couple other things I want to mention. One thing, we're doing something different for the Rapper quest. So the typical Yuletide Rapper is going to award Virtue XP in exchange for 2,500 Embers of Enchantment. And you can also trade in 10 perfect snowballs from the barter vendor in Winterholm to provide 10 Murgala Sarzai for Keliman to receive 500 Virtue XP. So, there we go. Anyway, you can read that on the guide, lotra.com. The other thing, though, is we have new Hobbit gifts, and that's also going to run during the Yuletide season here. That typically gets shut off in a game update. I think it'll probably be something like 46.1 in early January. But, for now, the Hobbit gifts are Yuletide themed, and we do have a couple of new things here, including this steed and this doggy. So all that's there, and you can find out a lot more about the Yuletide Festival. It's a pretty fun event, one of the ones we've had. It's been a hit in Lotro for a long time. There's a lot of great player guides out there as well, and if I do say so myself, I think it's one of our easier festivals to run. So just get to Winterholm and you'll figure it out. IMO. The other thing I would mention is that we do have a 25% crafting XP boost going through the weekend here. That runs through, the 14th, shut off 3 a.m. Eastern on the 15th. And I actually want to call up our sales page early on, because while it is salesy, it is also newsy, IMO. And that is, we've kicked off some pretty interesting sales this week, and a lot, whoops. I hate it when I do this by accident. Okay. It's a weird quirk in XSplit, which if I accidentally click on one of the HTML links, you can't backtrack to your former page. So you got to be careful what you're clicking on. Anyway, we have some special deals going on. Our Yuletide Savings Week 2 is here. That's skirmish items, large carry-alls, and profession slot unlocks. That's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about specifically is this new to the Lotro store Deep Places Memoir Pack. This has been a long time request and something that we're able to bring, thankfully, to the store through January 1st. It's the Memoir of Moria in Isengard Cosmetics, including all 8 Moria cosmetic cloaks for all of your characters. And if you go into the store description, it'll tell you what the cloaks are, but let me read that here. It includes the Darud's Stone, Stone of the Dwarf Deeps, Deep Red, Green, and White-clad Steeds of the Gap, Cloak of the Helmingus, Cloak of the Erlingus, Cloak of the Westfold, Armor of the Elmingus, Armor of the Erlingus, Armor of the Westfold, and the Guard of the Isen title. And this is a 1 per account grant on that. But it's permanently for your characters. So there you go. And that's a neat addition that we were able to bring to the store. We also have some deep discounts on expansions through January 1st. So if you're missing any of these expansions and you think this might be of interest to you, this is in the Lotro market, not the Lotro store. We have 85% off Mordor, 75% off War of Three Peaks, 70% off Before the Shadow, with an important note on that, which is that you already have the content for free. So this just gets you the goodies. But you can get the goodies at 70% off if you were interested. Similar to see the Moria thing. 40% off Corsairs of Umbar, 25% off Legacy of Morgoth, and that's all through January 1st. So that's the sales I wanted to call out here for this week, and you can get the full list of that as well over on Lotro.com. The final piece before I get in game here, well, I'll look at chat 2 here in just a second, but the final piece before I get in game is I did want to call out that we had a pretty big release this week with update 46.0.1. A lot of it is the Yuletide Festival. Don't need to repeat myself there. But I did want to call out a few other things. The main bit of update 46.0.1 is a fix to the legendary item issue that was caused with the release of update 46. So for the most part, all of your LI items should be back to where they were. If they weren't impacted to begin with, then they will still not be impacted. And if they were impacted, particularly we have found maybe people on Angmar and Mordor, people who are in the middle of like the 70s range and things like that with incomplete traceries, what have you, or the ones who are most going to be impacted by this. That should all be sorted now, however, and if you have any remaining issues, get in touch with CS and we will take care of you. We did, unfortunately, have to rearrange like the way that they displayed. The tracery slots are, so things are rearranged, but they should be the same if you were impacted. Okay. The other bit I want to call out is that we wanted to get word out on this early so that we give you plenty of time to prepare for it, but for most of the year here, we have a 100% return on your housing writs when you're abandoning or selling houses, or selling specifically houses. And now that the transfer period has been going on for a long time, and we're getting ready to perhaps release new housing in 2026, see Rivendell, we need to return that sale rate to what it was. So, with update 46.1 here in January, we're going to be restoring our prior homesteading coin rate of 90% when selling a premium house. So, if you do it automatically as part of the transfer process, which is what you should basically do anyway, you'll still get 100% back. But if you want to sell it, you're going to get 90% starting in January here. So, but that allows us to sell new. So, and then there's some bug fixes and other things here in update 46.0.1. Let me call out just a couple of known issues here, though. We are aware of a cosmetic outfit UI issue, and we haven't really been able to track down what the cause of that is. I myself, for example, am not experiencing it. So if you are in that position and have not filled in a bug report, we sure would appreciate it. It might help us discover what the commonality is that'll allow us to address this issue. We think in general it has to do with the addition of a scroll bar. We have kind of a rare bug which will present under certain conditions we have yet to identify, where once that scroll bar adds, it'll kind of black out things to the right, but it's not doing that for me nor for anyone inside of the office. But we've seen a couple of screenshots, and I've reached out to a few people on Discord, for example. So that's one that we're working to track down and resolve, hopefully for 46.1 in January. Also, issue with a string table error when harvesting wood nodes. We're investigating a cause and working on a fix for that. Some packages with untranslated text in German and French. Some players experiencing an issue with the on-Sharu quest mounting a rescue, where you're being directed to talk to Taklu, but he isn't there. It's a bug. We're going to fix it. In the meantime, you can go to where you met Ragerog outside of Kothrau to talk to Taklu at that location to advance the quest. So go back to where you were, basically, instead of where it tells you to go. We've also had to disable the quest Daily Polishing Crystals to Send Below at Jurat Manesh, while we address an issue with a collection of the satchel. And one that I should add to this list, but actually got its own service news thread instead, and that is that we had to close Tower of Orthanc because of an issue with the raid wings. So Tower of Orthanc is temporarily closed while we work to address that issue as well. When is all that stuff going to get fixed? It's most likely going to be in January now with the release of update 46.1. At this time, we don't have any other game updates scheduled for this year. So, we're actually getting pretty close to the end of the year, are we not? And so that's why we've got a lot of sales that are happening, running for a while. And we're also getting ready to kind of wrap things up ourselves for the year. And not that I won't be working. Not that people won't be working. But the release schedule gets under a lockdown condition, really, during the latter part of December. So unless you've got something real important, it pretty much is like, okay, it waits till January. And I think that that's pretty common for many game studios, including ours. All right. One quick note while I scroll through chat, and that is we do have free transfers open from Orcrist, Meriadoc, Glamdring, and Peregrine to select worlds. So, free transfers from Orcrist to Grand and Meriadoc, transfers from Meriadoc to Grand, and from Glamdring to Peregrine, Glamdring or Peregrine to Sting, are free until the release of update 46.1 in January. This is particularly being done to try to provide a little more relief to the people on Orcrist who have been struggling with server queues due to really an overly successful, I suppose you could say, population issue that we've been encountering on Orcrist. I'm trying to call up... Here we go. There is a post by Severlin that I want to call up here because I know it's going to address some number of questions that I might see in chat here today. And that is, what are we actually doing right now on Orcrist? So, we finished our initial data analysis from the weekend. Last weekend, Orcrist had some queues that neared 1,000 say particularly on like Sunday. We also did have an issue on Archrist on Sunday where the authentication system needed to get a reset, so that happened as well, and that helped contribute to that queue on Archrist. But nonetheless, it's also true that we had a queue on Archrist a number of times throughout last weekend. So, Severlin, our executive producer, we finished our data analysis from the weekend on Archrist, and here's a summary of what we found and what we're doing. After our adjustments last week, we are still seeing high CPU usage on some of the Archrist areas, while other places still have capacity. So we'll be making further adjustments on CPU balance. We did that yesterday during the Wednesday rather, during the downtime, to address the imbalances, to even the load across the server. This really just has to do with kind of load balancing. Should help address some performance issues that we've seen in specific servers. And I think in this case, servers being internal servers rather than, because it's all Archrist, but some specific servers running Archrist. We have seen in particular some performance reports and group content that seem to coincide with our data, and these changes should help that out. The central server, on the other hand, has shown excellent performance since we've made changes to our effect and skill messaging, and it's continuing to benefit from the changes made to the environmental entities. We're not really seeing the stress there, right? So these changes allow us to add resources to Archrist, which previously would have been stressed because it would have put too much stress in the central server. But since we've been able to do the skill messaging, and now that that's calmed down, we can add a little more capacity. So we added extra resources on Wednesday and increased the server capacity by about 10% or so. This will reduce queues, but isn't going to stop it when you got a queue of 1,000 people, right? Because 10% is still not going to let in 1,000. However, it should make a difference here this weekend, and we'll be keeping a close eye on things. We're hoping that if we can get another couple percentage of people to decide to move to one of our other servers for free, that would be a great thing you could do to help. You've seen what we've done on our end here this week, and we're continuing to look at it. So that is really what I can say at this time about Archrist. All right, let me take a look at chat. I'm sure the spinny ring will be back as a background. I'm just using the Kingdoms of Harad stuff while I can. Has Lizzie hissed at Brooklyn? Yes, I have had to deal with cat trauma. I'm trying to very carefully introduce a cat that has had some trauma with other cats recently into a house with a kitty who is quite elderly and stubborn and has certainly lived with multiple cats on multiple occasions before, but can still be a jerk about it. So I'm treading carefully here with the kitties, but they're not getting along yet. That's what I would say. However, they each have their own space and they're fine. So Lizzie's space being everything other than one room at the moment. Okay, are those pre-order cosmetics from Isengard and Moria? It's the stuff that we have been able to release. When will we have those 22 outfit slots available? I don't know on the timing of that. I've noticed it myself in our wardrobe. I assume that that's something that Celestrata and crew will be releasing when they can. Is Court of the Rings turning 10 years old? I actually think I guess Court of the Rings probably would be about 10 years old. I've been streaming for long. I was thinking about that just recently as I'm looking to the year ahead in that. I've been streaming, I think, for actually about 13 years. But it was on the DDO side first. So, will there be a letter from Orion before the end of the year? I don't know. I don't think so. And not because Orion doesn't want to give it to you. I think he's just busy with the release of Kingdoms of Harad and everything we've done since. I don't think we're going to necessarily have time to get that out the door before people go on a holiday break, and it would probably be less appropriate to try to shove a producer's letter through the process. So I think we're probably looking at January for that, but I could be wrong there, and perhaps Orion's is able to get that done in time, and we'll see what we can do. I can't really speak to the ability to disable auto-bestowed quests in session play. I don't know. That would be something perhaps Orion could speak more to. It's certainly not a pressing priority, and I apologize for that. What color and pattern is Brooklyn? Brooklyn is a black kitty for the most part, with a kind of a white stripe around the face and chest area. So, any plans for adding Mariner class barter vendors in Heightwold and Minas Tirith? I have seen that request before. I believe we have a suggestion request essentially in the system for that, but I couldn't tell you. All right, I think I'm actually caught up on chat here, so let's head inside of the game. Let me make sure I'm actually inside of the game and things are looking okay before I switch over. We are celebrating Yuletide here to kick things off. I thought I would do a quick cycle of 10, because you can do that fairly quickly, I think. Oh. That explains something. Hang on a quick second. My audio is set to the wrong source. There we go.
I do not ask much of you. I do not ask much of you. Will you let me speak my piece?
Make sure you pick up the quests ahead of time. Alright. Yeah, here we go. So this is basically something you can do in exchange for some Virtue XP this year. I don't know if this is going to be permanent. I asked certain people whether or not this is going to be a permanent thing or what. And I think the answer is we're not ready to commit at this point. But it could. It's possible. Look at all these quests. Alright, I do not have 10 perfect snowballs, so.
Woe to me.
And I will not do that one quite. Actually, I missed it. Yeah, I think it'll be popular, and my guess would be that it's something we'll consider longer term here, but I think they want to give themselves well, I'm not going to deal with that right now. Let's just finish some quests.
What can I do
That'll
for
be
you?
fine. I agree. Winterholm, I think, is my favorite too. I've said this
Hello
before.
there.
I like a lot of our festivals, but there is something about Winterholm that I like particularly much.
Hello there.
Okay, so snow beasts. Okay. Oh, while I'm at it, let's see what we get, huh? Rune and Gold Winter Gift training. Okay. Let's take a look at that inventory. What do we get? Training dummy. Neat. Okay, so this is one of the new Yule Hobbit gifts, if I recall. This will be a Gold Winter Gift training dummy and training snow dummy for a furniture yard, mobile yard. Not disenchanting that one. Oh, well, maybe I will have to, pretty good Yuletide gift, if I do say so myself. Gosh, a little bit of stream luck there, perhaps. Right off the bat, and I get the item I was probably most looking forward to. That trading dummy for my house. Yeah. How did I manage that? Dev hacks. Oh, I gotta find the ones that are knocked over here. Not moving around. There we are. Did that not work? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I myself am looking forward to it's not going to be a couple weeks fully off because I work during the break, but the last couple of weeks of the year things are going to slow down a lot. And after releasing expansions on the Lotra side and DDO side and having a busy, crazy year that 2025 was it not? We're going to have a little bit of time to spend with the family before we rock into 2026 and just keep crushing along. So that's what we're doing. But that means, you know, towards the end of the year, this last week I've got a whole bunch of sort of one-off things that you don't often have to do in this gig, but you do around the end of the year. A lot of kind of like reporting and writing and documentation and figuring out, hey, how did things go, and how much more YouTube did you tube, and how many more books did you face, and all that other kind of stuff. And so I'll be doing that over the next week. I'm also going to be, I mean, that's honestly the biggest thing I'm doing in the next couple of weeks. And scheduling social media and events all through the holiday. Lot going on. I also, one of the things, you know, as I'm looking toward the year that was, one of the, I guess you could call it a failure on my part, is that I was really hoping to push out the Lotro content creator program long time ago, frankly. Months ago if I could have, and I just couldn't do it. There just wasn't time. And so that's one of the things that's on my radar here for 2026 is, okay, well, how do I solve that problem? You know, let's find that time and figure out how to do it. So.
What can I do for you? Stay a moment.
Okay. But that is going to be one of the priorities here for 2026, is to get that up and running and supported. I also, one of my goals for the next year is to better support both the Lotro and DDO content creator programs and the Lotro and DDO Discords. A little bit better as well. One of the challenges I've had this year is one that's fairly normal. But I need to kill the quest here. What do I don't need this. And do I need that? No, I want that. Tasks. Cancel a few quests here so I can take care of this. So I think that's a bit of a priority for me in 2026. Is going to be better support the Discords, better support our content creator programs. I really do want to be in a position where we can have more video content, more up-to-date content. One of the criticisms that I guess I would just say I recognize is that a lot of the information gathering that I do tends to happen on this stream. And there are people who don't want to get their information this way. And so I'm looking for better ways to do either YouTube Shorts, social media, just get more of that info on the forums, on Discords, collated, things like that. And it's always a matter of time. How do you make it all work, right? And so I'm working on that myself. And it's on my mind here for 2026. But those are really, I think, some of my main plans for the year is to be able to better support our existing creators and because we have a lot of good Lotro creators here. It really isn't about me, and honestly, it doesn't really even need to be about me at this point, I don't think. I think we have a very robust bunch of creators here that can do, I could just support them instead. So, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Why was there just 2 acorns? Did I really miss an acorn somewhere? Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, no, I'm sorry to say, Folgers Red, that we know that that's not true. And the reason we know that's not true is you can find yourself in Frostbluff here after the event is over. And so it gets all quiet. Yeah, I don't think we really, at least to my awareness, I don't think anyone really knows anyone on that other development team for that game you're discussing. There's another Lord of the Rings game. Someone's discussing, is like, hey, we should do a collab stream. As far as I'm aware, there's no crossover. Like, I couldn't even tell you who any of them are, and I don't think they would probably say the same. Oh, yeah, there's the coal.
Greetings.
I'm sorry. Did he need something?
It does happen sometimes that, be like, oh yeah, we know those people. It does happen sometimes, but not too often.
This is intolerable.
Okie dokie. So, next up, let's head over to those chicken coops and take care of... Oh, I also need to talk to... What's her name there? Dorothy. But let's go over to the chicken coops here first. And make our snow person. I enjoy this Yuletide festival quite a bit. It's a very chill event, and once you've run it for a little while, you'll be like, all right, yeah, I can do this. Oh, sorry, my phone is on my desk. I agree, it is. It's easy-ish. It's chill.
How can I be of service?
Can play this while listening to holiday music, etc. Okay, so let's go back to Dorothy here and talk to her. Or Daily, rather.
What do you need?
Okay, we're going back to the mayor here. It's true, and I've run that on stream before. I'm not going to run it today, but we've run the theater performance a couple of times, I believe.
How can I be of service?
Okay, so now we are going down to the summoning horn to call the mayor, protect him from the workers' wrath. And that's, yeah, that's over by the building there. So, why don't we go do that? The theater takes a little work, right? It takes a little process. You got to kind of figure out what to do, and learning the emotes can be a little tricky. So, but guides can help you if you want to do the easy way, and if you want to just run it a few times, you'll get the hang of it too. But yeah, for sure, it's one that is a little more complex, I think, than you typically see for sort of a festival event like this. But that's kind of the point, too, because it's very interactive. Was it not the summoning horn here? I thought it was here. Oh, in the woods southeast. Oh, well, I did go the wrong way, didn't I? Go. Must be thinking of something else. Oh, do I hear a kitty meow? I think I hear a kitty meow. Oh, I chose to aid the rich this time, and that's why I'm in the wrong place? Okay. Good day. Good day. I don't know that I've actually done the aid the rich before. I think this might be the first time I've done this one. You know, you keep meowing like that, you're gonna end up on camera. Yeah. One hit. Well, all right. I might need to take a cat break here.
Greetings, friend.
Will you give me a moment of your time, friend?
All right. Well, let's see. Yeah. Well, you're going on camera. That's what's going to happen here. All right. Hello. This kitty has something to say. Yeah. And that is, feed me. You have 1 minute until the eating contest. I also would like to take part. I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, 1 minute. All right. Hey, just in time. I'm going to go from memory here. I don't know if it's been... I can't quite remember. I think it's berries are the best. I think berries are the best, right? Why can't I not target it? Come on. Okay. Mushrooms. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and then let the debuff kind of wear off here before I speak to the NPC. It's a little bit of a cheese tactic, but it works. It'll help get you through this thing here. Interesting. Interesting. Mr. Alexman, 29th of September 2016 was the first Court of the Ring videos on YouTube, anyway. Is it okay to upgrade your legendary items now? Yes. Does my cat like Didio or Lotro the most? I don't know that Lizzie has only a couple of times noticed the people on screen, but it's usually the avatars, and it doesn't matter the game. Because I think to her eyes, both avatars and Didio and Lotro look about the same. But the other thing she does like is she likes the Lotro cursor here, because it's very bug-like a little bit, right? And so that'll trigger a cat. So I would say to the extent that this cursor triggers her brain a little more, she's probably more of a Lotro fan. Well, you can't do it other than this first time. But this will help you be less full in order to get parts 2, 3, 4, 5 done. You can kind of let this first one wear down a little bit and not have to deal with that. You're still going to have to, though, get a combination of luck and know what to do in order to make it through the 5th one in my experience, but... Yeah, the rest of the tables have a time limit where you have to speak to the person in time, but this first table does not, so... Alright, well, what else, while I've got a minute here, should I mention? Next week, I think, will be the last Court of the Rings of 2025. After that, it'll be a couple weeks semi-off. You know, I'm still on the forums and Discords just about every day. We're still doing downtimes on Wednesdays through the break. Our next release will be update 46.1, probably something like second week of... first or second, I think second week of January. Oh, I do have one bit of news, though, that I could bring up, and that is we are on track, if we can. We're hoping to do a Bull Roar preview of one of the new instances coming with update 46.1, and that could, if everything lines up, and it's somewhat tentative at this point, but if everything lines up, then that would be the week of the 22nd, so the actual week of the holiday. We might be able to do, say, a Bull Roar preview that Monday, even if we can, and then get one or more of the upcoming instances into a preview cycle ahead of the year. Otherwise, the rest of that will probably be in January. Oh, which actually puts it beyond then 46.1. But you know what I mean. So, all right, we are done. So let's do this. So now we'll go
What can I
over
do for
to
you?
the next table. Go. Oh, we've got we already got people here. Well, fine. I'll go with eggs then. Someone else has taken my goodies. Maybe I'll get lucky and something will respawn. Otherwise, we're going for eggs, which isn't the greatest, but it's definitely better than the bread and the pie. In my experience, if my memory is correct. Got 20 seconds. Oh, berries, nice. Alright, so now you've got... Still have the clock here, but you got a few seconds here to kind of try to wear things down just a little bit. And then you got another minute to get to the next one, so maybe just sit there for a few seconds and let these debuffs kind of wear down a bit, although you're not really going to make it too far, but it might help you a little bit towards the end of the event. But you are in a pretty strict timer here, so kind of think about that. Just go. You have to. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I kind of know what... I know-ish what I'm doing. I believe I know what I'm doing. Oh. What happened? Oh, here we go. Okay. That's weird. Oh, except I screwed it up. You're right. I screwed it up. Darn it. I thought I'd have time. I thought I'd have time. Oh well. Well, that's fine. So where are we at? We are at 6 of 10. What else could I do here? I could head over to the other thing and finish up these 10 later, but we probably have. Yep, we have these two we can do. Stuffing
Could you
the
do something
stuff.
for me?
No problem. Keg.
Stay and hear me out.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I'll not be ignored.
This will get me my
Hello,
10.
friend. Could you help me
No
with something?
problem. Anyway, what I try to do is actually wait a little bit, because you've got to get all the way through part 5, and you can wear down part 2 if you're a little careful. But then, like you noticed here, you got to be a little more on the ball than me in terms of how much time you have left to eat what you need to eat. But if you do what I did better, you'll make it through part 5. Oh, people are telling me I'm wrong. Okay. Alright. So I had heard about using the mount between tables to not be slowed, but I haven't really found, other than the last part, maybe the last table when you're really feeling it, I haven't really found that to be necessary for the earlier tables. Actually, I haven't used it at all usually when I do it. To be honest, I don't really do that, but that makes perfect sense. Yeah, as Red Oak says, so try to stick with berries, mushrooms, eggs, and then if you need to eat bread or pie, you can save it for the final tables, which have the longest inductions and the biggest impact. So I did want to mention a little bit in terms of content here, which is that a lot of times on my character here on Peregrine, I will save the epic story, like Song of Waves and Wind, whatever, for the live stream. But we're not going to be doing a live stream for a little while here, and I don't want to get too far behind on Kingdoms of Harad. So what I want to do is actually run it, I think, off camera. And so I think about, just for kind of programming note there, I'm going to be, I think, running some of this over the holiday break simply because I want to, and I want to get caught up rather than running it on stream. I mean, I suppose we could add new food to the holiday tables at some point. It just isn't something that we've really prioritized. I think at some point we might also do what we've done for some of the other festivals here in 2025, and maybe even add like a new area or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. Yuletide is one of our most popular events, and as such, perhaps has a little less urgency to getting some of this done.
Why are you bothering me?
So we are collecting some things and dealing with firewood. So let's take care of those two and then kind of move on a little bit. I have not played Ashes of Creation. Someone is asking if I played that game. No, I haven't. I haven't at all. I'm only familiar with the name. Fruitcake would make sense, assuming they have fruitcake, but I assume they've got fruitcake, because it sounds like a British thing. But what do I know? Not much. Oh, wassailing? I assume that I would have to check with the Chris Pearson on that, or Made Alliance, but I bet they got wassail. Or some wassail-like equivalent. I don't know. I don't know what my go-to game over the holidays is. So I do a lot of retro games. I do a lot of old school games. I do a lot of newer games. I do a lot of indie games. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I play in my free time, which is not much, to be honest, this year. I'm not sure I've actually had much in the way of free time. Wait a second, this isn't right. So I'm just getting firewood? Okay, yeah, it is. Why am I not targeting them? Oh, here we go. Okay. So a lot. I don't know. I don't really want to. I have to be careful about talking about other games on our official streams and that. But I've been playing some good things. There was the big game awards last night. I actually thought I might check out one of the big winners there. A game called Clair Obscure. I thought I might check that one out over the holidays. Otherwise, I've been playing a little bit of deep discount stuff on Steam of late. Finally, I checked out Vermintide 2. Which I hadn't played before. It was fun. But I have actually, for the most part, been playing Mocha. I've been getting my missions done. I'm working on my mission wrapper here in Umbar. I played all the new missions for Kingdoms of Harad this week. I did the one kind of helping the dogs, finding the dogs and helping the person there over kind of one of the new 150 ones. So I've been doing that. And then on the other game side, they're doing an event as well, so I've been doing a little bit of that as well. Okay, so now I need to get berries, and the berries are, yeah, in the tent. Typically, we are heroic in the Lord of the Rings Online. Someone is asking about, okay, can we ever do evil quests, like where you're Enmity of the Shire, Earning Deeds, or Ire of the Elves? It's not really the kind of game we are. And we've always been pretty secure in you being a hero of the story rather than a villain. So that's not to say it could never happen. You know, you could always do session play or something else where you explore that part of it. But for the most part, that really isn't our intention. Yeah, PvMP really is where that would be. So perhaps actually, speaking of a thing, where you could probably put deeds like Enmity of the Elves and that PvMP would actually make a perfect place for that. I could actually save one of these quests for tomorrow, or for the next wrapper here. Alright.
Hello there.
Or nope, there's my 10. Yeah, I can finish stuffing the stuffed for the next day. I got my 10 of 10 here, so I'll take it. I'm definitely going to be hitting up that Yule Festival token list, for sure. Alright, so we are going to, yeah, Umak, Imular. And I know that we're at 1 o'clock here, so we're pretty much going to be wrapping up the show. But, so next week I'll probably be running Song of Waves and Wind here to wrap up 2025. But, I'm going to be doing some of this, like I said, off camera, because I'm not waiting any longer. I'm not waiting any longer. I've been turning in tasks. If you've been here on Peregrine at night this week, you've probably seen me turn in tasks, because I've been doing this, running the missions, dealing with the NPCs or so back there. But I'm ready to get going, and I want to do it on this character. So didn't get to it today, so that means we're just going to do it off camera. And I'll join you next week for our final stream of 2025 here with the Kingdoms of Harad live now, Yuletide live now through early January. Check out Lotro.com. Check out our sales page too, because we've got deep discounts. And up next, I believe, is the Tolkien Professor. After that, Druid's Fire. You can find our full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotroStream. Thanks so much, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.